Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report. My name is Carlos Torres, and I am super happy. I am pumped that I am back home here with Fred Altvater. Fred, I'm back here in the Back Nine Report. Thank you for taking me back. Thank you so much.
Carlos, your seat was never, it was always yours, buddy. Whenever you want it, you can have it. I'm really glad to be able to do this with you again. We always have so much fun doing this. We get together once a week and tackle some of the issues and the problems in golf, in the golf world. And there's a lot, Lord knows there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So we got a lot to talk about over the next year.
We have, and I mean, there's so much to talk about and things that happen weekly, daily, we can say. And golf, I believe 2025 is going to be an amazing a year in golf with a lot of things happening. But let's start talking about some key points, quick points that you want to mention that are happening or just happened really recently.
Yeah, just a couple things real quick. The a new show debuted this week on the Golf Channel. Five Clubs podcast by former Morning Drive co-host Gary Williams began airing on the Golf Channel this week. I caught today's show, and he had Scott Van Pelt and Jim Nance on talking about current events and happenings in the golf world. It was very well done. He films it from his home in Charlotte, North Carolina. The guys come in via Zoom, just like what we're doing here, and it's pretty well done. A little tease, if you can, tomorrow on Wednesday show, he's going to have Bryson DeChambeau. So I don't know about you, but I just tape that stuff. I just hit it, DVR it, and so then I watch it in the evening. You don't have to watch it in the morning because his topics are not that they're timely, but you can do them anytime. So the other thing, Carlos, something really big, and we're going to maybe talk about this more next week after we see one or two of these things, see what's going on. The TGL will have its first competition tonight at SoFi Arena in Palm Beach, Florida, 9 p.m. Eastern. The two three-man teams facing off for the first night are the New York Golf Club versus the Bay Golf Club. New York consists of Xander Schauffele, Justin Rose, and Matt Fitzpatrick versus the Bay Club, which is Shane Lowry, Wyndham Clark, and Ludwig Ahlberg. This should be interesting. We can talk more about it, as I say, going forward. I'm anxious to hear your opinions on this as we see what's going on with that. And of course, Tiger Woods is going to be involved and Rory. So I mean, you got two big names there, so that's going to get eyeballs, right? Century low scoring, Carlos. The first PGA Tour event of 25, the signature event, the Century was held last week at Kapalua in Hawaii. Hideki Matsuyama made a pretty big statement with a winning score of 35 under par. I know he's your guy. You love him. Colin Morikawa did his best to hang with Hideki, but couldn't keep up the tour. 35 under, Carlos. That's almost a birdie every other hole. That's just amazing to me. Do you like to see Tour Pro shoot 35 under to win an event?
Absolutely not. I mean, I know Hideki loved it. He did. I mean, he broke that record, but no, man, it's just too easy. I like to see them in
It's like
pain.
pitch and putt.
Yeah, it's like, what? No, I want to see them really suffer just like us. You know, there's no way we will ever shoot something like that. So I know they're pros and I know they're good, but at some point you have to make it a little difficult for them, you know. And fans, I believe they also like I mean, higher scoring, not lower because lower it would be that same score, no, but really higher scores. It's not like US Open like, but hey, a 10 under, 12 under, that's something that you would like to see because you see some really talented players being tested, and that's what really we would like to see how their play shot making play abilities are. So that's what I really don't like. That they better get a better.
Yeah, it's so Kapalua is a great place. It's beautiful. The views are outstanding, but it's a resort golf course. It's just too easy for these guys. It's no fun. I did not really enjoy that much watching it. And I did watch quite a bit on Sunday actually. So I don't know. I think they need to find a new venue. I'm sure there's other golf courses in Hawaii that would jump at the chance to have those guys come. These are the best of the best, right? To the top 50. It's a signature event. You don't need to have a pitch and putt event for these guys. So Carlos, that's just some quick things I wanted to get to. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Definitely. And you know what, that I just wanted to quickly say, you know what other event really I don't like to do, and it really reminds me of is the NBA All-Star. It's like it's all
Yes.
offense. It's nothing anymore.
Yes.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
It really lost its luster. But anyway, we have some things that we want to talk about today, and we're going to start with some PGA Tour preview predictions for this new year that unfolds 2025. You know, golf enthusiasts around the globe are really gearing up for another exciting season of the PGA Tour. And with an array of seasoned champions and rising stars vying for glory, I believe 2025, Fred, promises thrilling tournaments, unexpected turns, and potential history-making moments. I mean, we have some players that are looking to make some history. So I would like to see if you have some key predictions and players to keep an eye on this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of the usual suspects. And then, there's going to be some young guys that are going to pop up and get hot and, kind of get everybody's attention. We'll see how that plays out during the year. But just off the start, we got two guys that are going to the year on the IR. We got some injuries out there. You got Scotty Scheffler, who cut his hand on some broken glass on Christmas Day, had to have a little surgery to get some of the glass shards out of his hand. So it was just announced today. He's not going to tee it up on the West Coast until maybe Pebble Beach. He's shooting for that. So, and that's towards the end of it's towards the end of the month. So, in February. So it's going to be a while before we see Scotty. Also, Victor Hovland sustained an injury, and he's kind of out right at the minute. So we have to see how long that's going to take him. So that's the big news right now. And Carlos, my question is, barring the injury, if we take away the injury and just everything's equal, do you see Scotty Scheffler sustaining the domination that he's had on the PGA Tour like he's had over the last 2, 3 years?
You know, Scotty has established himself as one of the most consistent players on the PGA Tour for a few years now, and he's coming off a season where he led the field in strokes gained. So this injury is really, really going to challenge his dominance. That continuous dominance, I think, is going to challenge him in ways that because he's not going to be able to be practicing. So that consistency, that cadence that he has been having, is going to be really tested. If he's really going to, I mean, he has a solid all-around game, but still, he had to practice, and he could add another major title to his resume this year. Particularly, I think the U.S. Open, which suits his playing style. But I really look forward to see what's going to happen with him. And I also just want to add that I'm looking forward to a stellar comeback for Roy McIlroy. I think he's still one of the most captivating players in the tour, and I believe 2025 could mark a significant chapter in that career that he has. I mean, he just fell short of adding any other major titles, but his game has shown signs of renewed focus and precision. I expect him to contend strongly at the Masters. I think he finally might get to complete his career Grand Slam, depending on how Scotty Scheffler returns, right? But that's one player I'm looking forward to. Some emerging talent, Ludwig Averg. He's a name that is gaining traction
He's
in
not
the
emerging anymore. He's
Oh my!
there.
This he has such an incredible ball striking ability and composure, really under pressure. I think he's a strong candidate for a breakthrough season. So I wouldn't be surprised that he wins finally here on the PGA Tour and establishes himself as a future star. I think the new technology is going to influence the game this year. You know, the PGA Tour has increasingly embraced technology, and this year it won't be no exception. Expect advancements, especially in data analytics and player performance tracking, to play a bigger role in strategy. Everybody's about stats and this analytic here, analytic there. Every sport is using it, so I expect now the PGA Tour to start with the players, start to utilize these tools to effectively could gain an edge, particularly when it's about reading greens and optimizing their approach shots. And data is right there for the taking. I think there's going to be a tight race for the FedEx Cup this year. I they always provide dramatic finishes, and I don't think this year is going to be different. Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, and Sander Schauffele are all in excellent form. And if Rory's back to top form and Scotty as well, oh my goodness, I look for a photo finish there. Also, Fred, we have new venues and new challenges. Okay, this this year, the PGA Tour includes a few venue changes that will test players in a new way. And to me, the much anticipated debut of Whispering Pines Golf Club for the PGA Championship. Oh my God, I think that challenging layout is going to emphasize precision and true creativity. So I think that's going to be another one to look. And finally, to close it up on this one, Tiger Woods, his limited appearances, I believe even in limited capacity, he continues to draw and captivate fans. It's incredible. I can't believe it. And we expect his schedule still to be remain sparse, but any appearances, Fred, will undoubtedly draw massive crowds and attention, whether he's competing or serving as a mentorship role. His influence on the sport is strong as ever.
Yeah, Carlos. Another thing that I'm kind of watching this year as well. We talked briefly before the show started, or maybe talk about it more in depth next week. But this LIV PGA Tour thing really has affected the viewership of events, and so by splitting up the talent pool, those guys on the LIV are not drawing fans to the PGA Tour broadcast. But like you said, you've got now Xander Schauffele and you've got Scotty Scheffler. People have accepted that he's an exceptional talent, a generational talent. You If Rory comes back, and to your point, I don't know if you watched any of the match, but Rory's wedge game was so on point in that's what I've been watching from Rory. That's what I want to see, his wedge game. Everything else, his game is solid. If he can hit his wedges halfway decent on proximity, his proximity, I mean, he's 50% from 150 yards, he's 50% where he's going to hit the green or not. Okay. If he can get it on the green within 20 feet on a consistent basis, that guy is not going to lose. We're going to see him go back to the level that he was in 2019 before COVID hit. If you remember what he won, he won like 5 events and 8 starts or something like that. He was number one in the world. Nobody was even close to him. And then COVID hit. When he came back, he's never quite been the same. So I think his game looks really solid. And then the other point of that is that with Xander and Rory, Colin Morikawa, Hideki, Justin Thomas, Auberg, maybe even some of the young talent coming, I think fans are going to start to watch golf again. I really believe that. I think we've hit the bottom on this thing. I know people are still a little bit disenchanted with the players seemingly being money greedy. But I think we've seen the bottom of that, Carlos. I expect maybe to actually see golf go up a little bit.
Let's talk about the LIV Golf. You mentioned it there a little bit because they unveiled their 2025 schedule with 14 tournaments across 9 countries, including 6 new venues.
We're going to have an
And
event in Michigan next year.
yes, they will in Plymouth, Michigan. That's going to be in August. That's the team championship. So, notably, the final 3 events in Chicago, Indianapolis, and Michigan are set to coincide with the PGA Tour's FedEx Cup playoffs. So, that's indicating a direct challenge to the PGA Tour's dominance. And also, we've heard about LIV's reportedly is in the final stages of securing a major US television broadcast deal with Fox. So this development could significantly enhance LIV's visibility and marketability, potentially attracting more players. We see now that Northern Irish golfer promising Tom McKibben, who recently earned his PGA Tour card, is rumored to go to LIV. That report suggests that McKibben will be joining John Ram's Legion 13 team. So that's something I'm looking forward to see because if LIV now is about to secure a broadcast deal with Fox, that is a major thing. And one thing that we have been trying to see, those developments occur amid the ongoing negotiations between the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, and the Saudi Arabia PIF. I mean, what is going on, Fred? I see that there's going to be that big divide might really get bigger. Uh, I don't see this closing. What do you see on this?
Well, I see a couple things. Number one, the PGA Tour wants that $1.5 billion that the PIF is waving out there, right? Say, here's the carrot, here's the carrot. Okay, I got a stick behind my back to beat you with, but here's the carrot, and they want that money, right? And so I really think something's going to get done. And I was one of the things that is possible. You'll have the separate tours still, but players can maybe jump back and forth a little bit between the LIV and the PGA Tour. But what about this? You know, we've been talking about a World Golf Tour for what since
Oh,
2019, so 5 years, right? 6 years now. Oh, by the way, this is the 13th year of the show, so just I don't know if you're feeling old yet or not, but you're getting there. Uh, so we've been talking about a World Golf Tour for a long time, and you had this all laid out how they could do this and all this stuff. This live really gives a perfect way to really begin a world tour. You could have the live tour be like the signature series. Okay. Those are the big events. The top 50 guys qualify for those. That's it. You got to be in the top 50 by a certain date to be in that event. Okay. Just like you have to be in the top 50 to be in the signatures, to be in the majors, all that kind of thing. So these are the top guys, and they're getting together maybe, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 times a year, okay, playing in these events. Then you've got the regular PGA Tour, you got the regular DP World Tour, and those are a lot more like feeder tours. Those guys are playing to qualify to get into the LIV events. Um, I see something like that as a possibility. Not sure that's going to happen. I know there's no rumors. I'm just kind of floating out an idea here, Carlos. The other thing is that the LIV and the PGA Tour stay separate entities, but they come to some agreement about transferring players back and forth and allow maybe some of the LIV guys to play in certain events or so many events a year, maybe 4 or 5 or something like that. So you get some of the top players together a little bit more often because that's what we really want to see, right?
yeah, that scenario looks so complicated and to me is less attractive. It's like you remain there, the other one's here.
Yes.
And there
Yes.
has to be something like what you're mentioning. There has to be some synergy and some merging on of those schedules. So it has to work somehow where the tours really merge their initiatives. And I think PGA Tour has started too. They already started to shrink the FedEx Cup to 100. So 100 classifications, and in 2026 it's going to be even less on those initiatives. So I think they're starting to go that way and establishing the signature. And I would really go for that thing too, like those top 50 players. But the thing is, there's still this sentiment. I don't know what is it going to be. To me, the bigger right now impediment is how you're going to let those players that left. I think the sentiment from the PGA Tour players, you left, you really you're a traitor. You're not the one that you should have stick with us. We stick here. They unless there's some penalty to them, somehow they get something agreed upon to okay, I'm gonna pay this fee or something. They're not gonna take them back. And I think that since the players took now more power on the board, and we see that Rory, Tiger, and even Adam Scott are now part of that discussion.
Patrick Cantley.
They are not going to see this so easily.
And I got to agree with you on that. Matter of fact, I made a note here that if I'm a PGA Tour guy that stayed and was loyal to the PGA Tour, yes, I got my purses bumped up by 30% because the LIV was there. Okay, that's all well and good. But those guys left. Okay. I'm not anxious to have them come back here. Uh, unless they're going to, and it's got to be something that hurts a little bit. Okay. We're not talking a $10,000, $50,000 deal here. We're talking about a couple $1,000,000 or something that's got to be put back in to the PGA Tour or commitments to play or whatever. Okay. But it's got to be something that gets those LIVEs guys' attention for leaving the tour in the first place. So, and I really think that's the sticking point in this whole deal because I think the LIV guys just want to slide right back in and pick right back up. And the other players saying, oh, whoa, 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 wait a minute. You decided to go over there. You got your pocket full. You just go ahead and spend your money and go ahead and stay on the LIV.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And even though they don't want to say it, but I think that's what it is. And I think you have a question of what would be a potential shift if the PIF investment is not agreed upon with the PGA Tour.
Yeah, well, we were talking, and so they're I'm sure. Well, the PIF wants to invest 1.5 billion in the PGA Tour, but that's getting held up. So my question first was, so if the PGA Tour and the PIF can't come to some agreement on that money, can you see the PIF taking that money to the DP World Tour and saying, "Hey, we got a pocket full of money here for you. You guys want this, and we're gonna come in and be partners with you, and you're gonna get all these great players now playing in your tournaments, and we're gonna put this money into it." I think they'd be sitting here with open arms. What do you think?
I see it as a plausible alternative. I mean, such a move would provide the DP World Tour with substantial financial resources, potentially
Plus
elevating
players.
its status in their global golf hierarchy. It could lead to enhanced tournament offerings, increased prize funds, and the attraction of higher ranked players. And also, one thing that LIV players have been trying to do is earn ranking points.
Yes.
So that will be intensifying the competition with the PGA Tour. But however, I see this strategy would also depend on the DP World Tour's willingness to align with PIF's vision and the broader implications for the sports governance and unity. That's going to be a
It's
little,
still a sticking point in it, all that Saudi Arabia stuff.
yeah, it's complicated, but we'll see. Hopefully, they will come to something. Now, talking about players earning money and more money and more money, the question of whether the Ryder Cups players should receive financial compensation always has ignited heated discussions in the golf world. Traditionally, golf has been regarded as one of the sport's I mean, the Ryder Cup has been regarded as one of the most prestigious team events. And
Not
historically,
not just golf, but in all sporting
all
events. It's one
sports.
of the it's like a Super Bowl.
Right, and it historically has been unpaid for its players. However, recent revelations and commentary, this tradition is being questioned more than ever. So, Team USA apparently on 2025 is going to have a stipend of $200,000 for each players. So, first of all, what do you think about the Ryder Cup, the players being paid, and about this announcement of the Team USA stipend announcement of $200,000, and the players saying, wait, I'm not gonna take it. It's just for charity. That's not for me, it's for the charity.
Patrick Cantley's not giving a charity; he's putting it in his pocket. That guy, he counts every dollar, man. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of this, Carlos. David Duval bought this up what 20 years ago, whatever it was, back in the 90s, and it didn't receive very good press then. He was really castigated for it, and never really quite recovered after that, to be quite honest with you. And so they're going to get $200,000 in their pocket. They're going to get another 300,000 into their charity of choice or their foundation or whatever. So that's like putting in their pocket. I don't know why they really feel like they have to have this. It's just a fact. Yeah, they're professionals and they want to be paid when they play. I understand it, but the Ryder Cup historically has not been about that. It's been about you're playing for your country, like the Olympics, okay, if you would. And we're just playing the United States versus Team Europe, which originally was Great Britain and Ireland, and then expanded to Europe, which made it much more competitive. So, Carlos, over the last 11 Ryder Cups, so since 2002, okay, there's been 11 Ryder Cups. Europe has won 8 of those. The United States has only won 3, okay, out of the last 11. I mean, that's with so they're going to get 200,000. Are they going to play harder now? They're going to win. Is that what's going to? Is that what the Europeans said? No, we're not going to be paid. We don't want it. We're not. We don't need that. We're tickled up to play, and that's the whole thing about this, Carlos. That's what makes it great because the European team is like a little brother. He wants to beat Big Brother, and the Big Brother is the PGA Tour, and so they come in more motivated, even though on paper they're much lower ranked. It looks like there's no way they could ever win. Yet they've won 8 out of the last 11. Nobody's talking about getting paid in Europe.
Yeah, that's part of what I think is not going to make any difference for them unless you adopt what the Ryder Cup is, those traditional values. And Rory McIlroy alluded to them. It's not it's a more about pride and not money. However, I know that the European players also have been facing questions about, hey, you're being left behind. The U.S. is adopting this type of approach, and uh, we even heard. I read on the Mirror that they highlighted the comments of legendary caddy Billy Foster, who really expressed the concern that the focus on the money really could undermine the Ryder Cup spirit. According to him, the event's legacy thrives on passion and camaraderie that we see a lot from the Europeans. That's why they thrive on this. And introducing pay could really dilute its essence. So, to me, it stands out, like I said, the golf world as a celebration of team spirit, patriotism, and mutual respect. So introducing pay, even in the form of stipends, risk altering the very fabric of that makes this a special event. So while the charitable intentions behind the US stipend are commendable, they set a precedent that could eventually shift the Ryder Cup's ethos from pride to profit. So I understand that I was talking about this, and yeah, but modern sports demand acknowledgement of players' commitments. Yeah, but at some point, you have to be talking about something bigger than yourself, And the Ryder Cup, it really, really, really has that spirit of team and talking about your country, or at least your continent in the case of Europe.
If you qualify or you're a captain's pick to be on a Ryder Cup team, and you feel you have to be paid, and they're not going to pay you, then stay home. Okay, you don't have to play. There's nothing says that you got to go over there. Just say, okay, I respectfully decline. I'm going to stay home. Thank you very much. That's all you got to do. And one more thing I'm going to say about this, Carlos, and I don't mean to pick on Patrick Cantley, but I guess I am. He really divided that team at the last Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
All and it was all about the money. Okay, I think that's all they were talking about in the rooms, and not wearing the hat and all this stuff. And he can poo-poo and say, "Oh no, I just don't. I didn't like the." That's a bunch of BS. You know it. Everybody knows it, right? He was making a statement about not being paid, and
Mhm.
that's what's blowing all this stuff up. And if he doesn't want to play, stay home. Okay,
Yeah.
if you got to be paid, just don't go, but don't bug everybody else about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that's all for now. Any final words that you have before we close the show?
No, Carlos, it's been snowing up here in Cadillac, Michigan. Monday, I'm heading down to Florida for a few weeks. Looking forward to that. Going to be going to the PGA show, so hopefully we'll do one of the shows maybe from down there, and we'll talk a little bit about that. It's always a good time. Going to spend a few weeks traveling around Florida a little bit and playing a little golf and seeing some people. So looking forward to it, Carlos, and I'm so glad that we're back doing this. This makes me very happy.
Oh, I'm happy too. And I hope that our Golfaholic fans are happy too. And we have a lot of content. Stay tuned for us. Remember to subscribe so you can get our alerts and be mindful of when we have our new episode, which is, we promise you, it's going to be very interesting. So thank you for joining us. It's always our pleasure to bring you the latest in the world of golf. So thank you for joining us.